What is poppin', YouTube? Back again with another live stream underdog draft. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in here tonight. We got a special guest. We got a bunch of good things and exciting things happening. But of course, if you guys want to come draft with us, I am stealing all of your money. So make sure that you guys come over and draft with us on Underdog Fantasy. If you use code Caleb100 for your first time deposit, you get a special pick'em and you get up to $250 for the first time deposit offer. Now you may be saying, Caleb, you said there was a guest. We're still here, 2 minutes in, no guest announcement. So let me just lay down the floor. We got my man Steve from the Average Joe's Fantasy Football channel. So if you haven't checked that out, that is all linked down below. A few things about Steve before he jumps on. Number one, he is a big Dallas Cowboys fan. We will not, however you want to view it, we'll forgive Steve for that fandom, but he's absolutely loves a ton of Boston sports as well. So with are we both muted?
Yep, I am here and ready to go.
Let's go. No, we're pumped. It's going to be super exciting. So like we said, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to draft with us over here, we're going to be doing an underdog draft, and we're going to be doing the Hound Dog 2, which actually just got released today. So we're super pumped to jump into that. So if you guys haven't already, get ready. I know there's like 20-second delay, so I'm about to click it on my phone, and then we'll pull it up and draft here. So Steve, so you're a Cowboys fan. How is it being a Cowboys fan? I think the people want to know. Like, it can be heartbreaking. We all watch Skip Bayless. So is that like how every Dallas Cowboys fan feels, or
no?
Like, how does that go?
I would say most Cowboy fans do not agree with Skip Bayless at all on anything.
Okay.
He is the extreme. He is the reason why people don't like Dallas Cowboy fans. I think that's what it is. Okay. So it is heartbreaking every season. I have no hopes ever. I'm very low with my expectations. And I kind of, just enjoy the season, and that's that.
100%. Well, like I said, guys, we are going to be doing the Hound Dog 2. We're going to be doing the 20-second clock. I just clicked it to enter, so if you guys want to enter and jump in with us, make sure you do so. We'll pull the active draft up here. And like I said, we're starting in almost a minute, so super pumped to get this going. Steve, how many drafts have you done on Underdog?
So Underdog, I do a few. I usually start jumping on Underdog really during this season. It's probably when I do it the most. I do a lot of pick'ems. I do early best ball. So I do try to jump in as much as I can, but typically I really don't start jumping in until about August, September, is when I end up start going into those for sure.
100%. No, well, I'm excited. Like I said, we've been doing about one a week, so it's been pretty exciting. But looks like we are here. We got the 107, so pretty pumped. Shout out to Brian for being here. Said, "What up, brother? Long time no chat. Good to see you, Brian." He says, "Bears, gentlemen. However, I like the boys." Okay, Brian. We like to see it.
Yeah,
we like
Nothing
to see
wrong
it.
With the Bears have an exciting season. I'm kind of excited for them.
No, I'm pumped to see how Caleb Williams does. And granted, I think a lot of people are excited about the overall potential, but we'll have to see how everything kind of shakes out.
Yeah, I think he's in the position to probably one of the best rookie positions for somebody like him. I mean, he's got a lot of talent around him.
100%. So we see CMC, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase off the board. We're coming in hot here. I would love to take either the top two receivers, or if you have to choose between Bijan and Brees, who do you want?
I'm going Bijan. Brees is tempting, but I'm going Bijan.
Okay, let's get Bijan. And so now that we got our running back, are we viewing this as we, of course, in Underdog, if you guys do not know, you do have to draft, start 3 wide receivers. So we will probably do a little bit of a hero RB build, I would assume, Steve. Is that kind of how you're viewing this?
Yeah. I mean, you've got to go that route. I will say I just finished my I was at the live draft for Scott Fishbowl, and that was an interesting way to draft for sure.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about it. So I know the settings are super weird. Did you go which live draft did you go to?
I was in Orlando.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, the settings, the whole scoring settings will completely change how you look at fantasy for sure. And I think it's what makes it a little exciting. Your draft strategy, like especially when you're talking best ball, redraft, anything like that, it just goes out the window. Um, and I'll just bring up one team that went tight end heavy first 3 rounds. It was interesting to see that strategy, and I get it.
Are we
But
cool
at
to
the end of
go
the day, you got your
heavy
score.
RB here and go Jonathan Taylor? We opposed to that?
Oh, if I can get those, absolutely.
Yeah. We're gonna go a little bit robust RB. I don't typically love this. This has happened a few times when Jonathan Taylor's fallen, but at the 2-6, give me all that. I'm so sorry. Get back to what you're talking about. That was on me.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think sometimes people overthink in those drafts. You still got to get the best player available. Sometimes that will always be the key.
100%. 100%. Brian says no Nagy, so that's that. Yep, with the Bears, and then he said to go Brees, which I still like Bijan as my RB1. I think knowing the upside of Brees, we saw it last year, and then of course you add in the fact that you assume Aaron Rodgers is going to step up that offense. I mean, same thing's going to happen with Atlanta with Kirk Cousins. So I'm still Bijan 101 as running back, but yeah, definitely you can kind of pick your poison there. But right now, so we've absolutely hammered running back with Bijan and Jonathan Taylor. We're going to have to go pretty wide receiver heavy here over the next few picks, but feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah. I mean, where I've been looking at some of these drafts, I'm seeing a lot of players really fall that I think are going to actually end up being some steals. Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, for whatever reason, keeps dropping. You got some players that I think are going to be absolute studs for sure.
Yeah, I just talked about Kyron Williams in my video that I put out yesterday. So I think Kyron Williams, massive steal in the third. We're coming up here, so we probably should view like what wide receivers are on the board. So we're looking at guys like Malik Neighbors, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs. Any thoughts on any of these guys?
So I love Neighbors, but I probably lean closer to, I would say probably Moore or Pittman.
Yeah, let's go DJ Moore. I'm not concerned about the target share that a lot of people are worried about with Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze. I think this offense is going to be great. And I think DJ Moore, too, is like we saw him last year with the best quarterback of his career in Justin Fields. I know some people don't view Justin Fields as that way, but sadly for DJ Moore, that was the case. We saw what he was able to do, and just add Caleb Williams, who we think is a better passer than Justin Fields. Sky high up for DJ Moore. And you're getting the discount. You're getting the discount after what he did last year, just based on that uncertainty and target share.
Yeah, and I think the winners are going to be DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I think those are the two that are going to win, in at least for this year. And I'm not afraid to draft either one of them.
Brian says, I'm in the hospital at the moment, so I'm just watching y'all. Brian, prayers, good wishes up to you. Hope you feel better, brother. Apologies for that, and hopefully you feel better soon. But you know what? Whatever you're getting done, it's better to get it done before football season. So
yeah, absolutely. Get all the free ice cream.
Yeah, get all the free ice cream. I always went crazy for the Mott sticks at the hospital. I don't know if that's, yeah. So, Brian, hope you're feeling better. But shout out to The Roll, also popping up into the chat. He said, what's up, The Roll? Steve, so you're on the grind to 2,000 subscribers now. How long have you been making fantasy football content?
So I'm going on to year 4 now. I started off really slow. Just trying to kind of get familiar with my space, my community, trying to put my niche into it. And it's a challenge for, just trying to figure out where I'm at. Part of it is, I've been doing this a very long time. I won't admit my age. And, for someone like me, like doing this as a part-time, I don't even see it as a job. It's such a fun thing to do. Just finding that time and moment and growing and networking. I've met some amazing people. I also write articles for some companies as well, in the fantasy space, which has been such a huge opening for me. So it's been fun, and I enjoy just the camaraderie and among peers, and of course with the communities. I think fantasy football is probably some of the best communities out there.
100%. I'm going to deviate, and we're going to go Travis Kelce here. He's fallen too far in the ADP for me to hate on this. This start, which in typical underdog, you want as many wide receivers, but the fact is we got 2 elite running backs. We got our number 1 receiver in DJ Moore, who we think is undervalued, and then we get Travis Kelce, who I think is the number 1 tight end this year. Again, which is each and every year. But going back, I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry. It's always fun with these drafts. They move so fast and they interrupt conversation a little bit. But I think from everything that I've seen you do, like the sky's only up from here, dude. Your content's great, your audio is great, your setup's great. Like you can definitely tell you really care. But it does get hard, like as you're balancing whatever like full-time real life looks like for you, and then you got to make content, edit videos, like all that good jazz, stream. So yeah, dude, no, excited. So if you guys want to go, of course, go support Steve. His channel is linked in the description as well in the comments, so go check him out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've been watching you for a while. Your content's been amazing. I think, like you said, it's trying to figure out where you are in the space and where you can stand out and really build upon that. And, you know, I've seen some of the amazing guests you've had. It's funny. You know, I got the inspiration. I know a lot of people started funny around, you know, COVID. People didn't know what to do with their time. And a lot of people did start in that avenue. But I just felt there's just some amazing people in the community that I got inspiration from that's helped me kind of find out where I need to be and where I want to be. And then the support, you know, I've got some great family, friends, my wife, just supporting this as a nice, fun thing to do. So much so that my wife ended up doing fantasy football, which is awesome.
Boom.
Like she loves football, but now she does it.
I'm leaning Chris Godwin here, if that's okay. Get in our second wide
Oh,
receiver.
I love him in the slot. I'm excited for him this year.
Ooh. To talk to me a little bit about your love for Chris Godwin in that slot role. How you think that's going to impact him?
Well, that's his natural spot. It is a new offense. Obviously, everyone, Canales is going to Carolina. You've got a new offense is going to, put him back into that slot role. And think about back in the day when Baker Mayfield had Jarvis Landry, who played a lot of slot role anyways, with one of his favorite receivers. I think that's just a natural transition for Godwin back into that role, putting obviously Evans on the outside. I think Palmer ends up taking the other outside of the role. Another player that I really love in that offense that's not getting enough credit is Cade Otton. He's a tight end that's just being completely slept on. So if you're in a tight end premium, I think he's going to be someone that might help you win this year. But Godwin in that spot is the perfect spot for him. He got a lot of targets last season. I think he's only going to see more. And he's just a matchup nightmare against linebackers, safeties that are going to end up covering, of course, any nickel. Because Godwin's one of the better wide receiver twos out there for sure.
100%. And to all the viewers, shout out to you guys for tuning in and watching. Of course, if you haven't already subscribed, we're on the grind to 3,000 subscribers. And like I said, we're going to be releasing a draft guide here. So if you guys want to come draft with us on Underdog, use code Caleb100. It does help out, as well as I need to apologize. I recently resubscribed to Ecamm Live, and all of my settings are messed up. So the fact that the draft board is not fully on, and you see a little bit of my desktop background in the bottom, apologies on that. So I appreciate you guys for withstanding that. And then Brian, we're about to be back on the clock, but Brian says, "How can you teach me how to turn my phone to get the big screen?" Yeah, there's a little button in the bottom right that you push if you're on YouTube. If you're on Twitter, or X, I don't quite know. But since you're commenting, I know you're on YouTube, so you put that little bottom in the bottom right. So thanks for tuning in, Brian. We're back up on the clock here. We're going to have to go wide receiver. Between Jordan Addison and Deontay, who would you like to go?
I'm going Deontay. Only because I'm not sure what the quarterback situation looks like in Minnesota. And I love this new offensive scheme that's going to change for the Carolina Panthers. And I'm just a big believer of Deontay. He just does not get the love that I think he deserves. And he's going to become a true wide receiver one. You got Thielen still there. I like Mingo. I like Xavier Legette. I mean, this offense is going to be great.
Yeah, I might be. I'm right there with you. Deontay is probably I've been on the train. I traded for him 2 off seasons ago in all my dynasty leagues, and then last year happened, which was honestly last year was great for him. Besides the fact that his quarterback play sucked. So as much as we hate the way Kenny Pickett, or we might not like how we saw Bryce Young in year 1. Bryce Young is better than Kenny Pickett, and arguably,
absolutely,
Bryce Young's better than last year Big Ben in his noodle arm, which I think helps Deontay Johnson a ton. And so I'm excited to see what he can do in that Dave Canales offense. It's going to be pretty pumped.
Now, don't get me wrong, Addison is fantastic. I'm curious if it's Darnold or McCarthy, and I think we'll see how that plays out this offseason.
100%. The role said he would have went with Addison. We decided to go with the target hog. A lot of people in my recent video I talked about Deontay Johnson, they said he has butterfingers, and I'm like, yeah, well, he drops 8 catches when he has 150 targets. Come on, it's not that large of a percentage. So we're back up on the clock. We probably need to go. We could, yeah, we don't need C.J. Stroud. Do we want to go Keon Coleman? Is that a way? Take another shot.
If you look at a receiver, I'm taking him for sure. Keon Coleman would probably be the better option that you've got available there.
Yeah, because we
And
kind of get, it starts to get a little bit nasty here. I do like Curtis Samuel as well, but we need to readjust on the, since we deviated from the path. The one mistake that I think I made is I rushed into the Travis Kelce decision when we were going to have, I think we almost had Dalton Kincaid or Trey McBride fall back to us in the fifth, which it is what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think Keon Coleman's actually going to be pretty solid this year. I know there's like this whole offseason thing about, he's not catching on, and I don't think that's true at all. I think he's going to be great. I'm a big Keon Coleman supporter, fan. I don't think he showed up as amazing as he should have in the draft, the combine, but he's in a great situation. You know, he's going to develop some type of form. It's going to take some time, but I think he's going to show up about week 4 or 5 and then just blow it up the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think the rumors and reports of he doesn't know the playbook. It's like, okay, cool. Like, what rookie really knows the playbook fully? Like, it takes you a few months to learn and practice. So by the time training camps right now starting into full swing, like he'll get it down. I'm not that too concerned, because who else are they going to throw the ball to? Like, it's really Curtis Samuel, him, and you got Dalton Kincaid. Otherwise, I know a lot of people like Khalil Shakir. I'm not on that same train wavelength. I think a lot's going to have to go right for Khalil to really emerge. But we're about to be back on the clock here. I wouldn't hate a Cortland Sutton here, honestly.
He's going to be force-fed targets at this point, because realistically, there's no other receiver on that field that's going to take enough from him.
Yeah. And I feel like we've done an okay job replenishing this wide receiver room after going super heavy RB and early tight end, which typically I do not do. But I feel okay about this. We'll have to see. I think we do need to start thinking about, like, quarterback wise, like at what point we want to take a shot. Like, are we going to just take 2? Are we going to take, like, I could easily see us, I would love to do the Caleb Williams, DJ Moore stack.
Yep.
And then even waiting long, like, I love Justin Herbert's value. Like, where are you at on Justin Herbert this year? I know a lot of people are worried about his targets or not targets, but his weapons. But where you at?
So I'm probably one of the few people that actually have never been on the Herbert bandwagon. I know he's a true talent. I think he's got the talent. There's just something about his play that kind of has just turned me away from him. Especially looking at the AFC, I don't think he's anywhere near the top. I think they've got one of the best. The AFC's got some of the best quarterbacks. I will say this with Herbert. I think the run game is going to help, even though it's a mess and it's a lot of chaos back there. I think it's going to be a true committee. Because of that, I think Herbert ends up actually having a decent season. He's not being pressured too much, I think. And then having Harbaugh as his coach, I think, is a fantastic thing. He was a quarterback. He's going to have the ability to really kind of help him out, whether it be just reads. And I think sometimes quarterbacks play better when they don't have a true one, because they don't have to feel like they've got to keep force feeding their guy. They can kind of just truly get it to the players that are open. I think statistically he's going to have a down year, but because of where he's falling in most drafts, I think he's an absolute steal.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, we're about to be back on the clock, and the wide receivers are nasty here. So do we look to get another running back? Do we pivot? Like, where are you kind of at here?
Well, I mean, even looking at the running backs, it's tough because, I mean, the only value there I would say is Devin Singletary. It's probably one of the stronger values looking at that because of the room he's in. Otherwise,
we were about to run out, so I just clicked on Palmer because
Palmer
I thought
would have been the only other option.
Yeah, I was not that I didn't like Dubs or Shakir. I had in my, that was a split second, and I didn't mean to cut you off because I wanted your input, but I was like, oh crap, we gotta figure this out. So we got 6 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a tight end. So really, we probably need to start beefing up the running back room a little bit. And of course, we need to get this QB. I was really kind of hoping Joe Burrow was going to fall there a little bit, and we'll have to see.
You may have to end up going Caleb. Or possibly Jaden. Yeah. I like Jaden Daniels' rushing ability. And I like his receiving room. He's got a great receiving room for sure.
100%. So you've been making content for quite a bit. When did you officially start playing fantasy football? Like, what year? What did this been?
That's definitely gonna put some age on me. So okay. I am going into year 20. Yeah, year 20 now. So I started about 17 years old.
What would this have been?
Uh,
2004.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. My first year ever playing was 2007. LaDainian Tomlinson.
There you go.
That was a beauty. Which to any of you youngins, you guys do not understand. LaDainian Tomlinson was like actually unfair.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson
LT,
was
Priest
also
Holmes.
yeah. Oh,
I remember the Priest Holmes where he had the breaking the touchdowns, and obviously LT broke it. Um, I remember when, again, there's probably some younger people in there, but Dante Hall was amazing when it came to if you did kick return yards and things like that. He was just a secret weapon. Um, and of course, I remember some of picking up players like Dante Culpepper, McNabb at my quarterback.
yeah.
Obviously Randy Moss in his prime. Man, that year with New England was just unfair.
Yeah. I'm leaning
So
Javonte here. Not that we need a quarterback, but Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels went off the board, so I'll punt it a little bit
yeah,
longer.
yeah, you can wait there at that point because you'll still have Herbert, Tua,
Yeah.
later in drafts.
Yeah. We might just double. We might just double up and make that work. No, my favorite year of fantasy football, like if someone were to ask me that, was the year that Michael Vick came back to the Eagles and you were able to pick Michael Vick up and Aaron Foster off of waivers after like week 2.
Yeah.
It was like you won your league that year.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah, huge league winner. And then shout out to Andrew over at the League FFB. Dude was ripping a best ball draft as well. So glad we didn't get in his lobby because he would have taken us and eaten our cake. Shout out to you, Andrew. Appreciate you, bro. The roll says, I love the Javonte pick. Well, I was on the clock and I just had to fire away. That's exactly what I did, and did not ask Steve on his opinion on that pick. So poor Steve. He's been getting the brunt of giving his opinion, and then I'm just over here clicking away. Which is funny because we had, who was it on? Oh, Andrew, it was with you. And you just kept demanding your players. Like, you didn't even let me have my own opinion on my own channel. So, anyway, I'm the captain of this ship now. That meme, whatever that is. Oh, man. Well,
So, yeah, my favorite year was when I was able to pick up Odell Beckham. His rookie year.
Oh, yeah, that was also another good one. I forgot.
That was a fun year.
You know how much smarter the fantasy football community is now? Like any first round wide receiver, you are not finding on the waivers. Like, because we've all learned at this point. Like it could happen.
Yeah, it is tough. Because of the internet and how the space and how much it's grown. Even in my own home league, my home league is about 16 years old. And those guys I used to win almost every year, and now it's like, man, I actually have to really be on my game. Because you guys are just absolutely they keep watching my videos, and that's my fault. But
yeah,
they're just taking my strategy.
Yeah, we're going to it here. We're getting our first quarterback. We can't wait any longer.
No,
and we might double tap this, Steve. We might double tap this. We'll see if this happens.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes I enjoy that my buddies are getting better and kind of challenging me a little bit more, which is making it even more fun. Because sometimes I think I had 3 championships in a row, and it just at that point it's no more fun.
No, 100%. So I think that's the other issue is I have like friends that now like in dynasty leagues that I'm in with them, like they're like, oh, if Caleb wants somebody, like I should want that person. So they're like, nah, no, I'm not gonna trade you unless like you have to give, so much. So.
Yeah, I did that last year. I had some injuries at receiver, and I needed to keep winning. And I gave up 2 first-round picks for Jordan Addison just because I absolutely wanted him, and I needed something.
It's crazy. I saw a video today. Addison over at DLF, he hates Jordan Addison, and he was like, sell Jordan Addison for a future first. I was like, no, I'm not doing that crap. Like, I have so many shares of Jordan Addison. I'm like, I'm holding on for dear life.
Yeah, and I think he's a talent that, he's worth that first round. To me, I don't feel bad spending 2. I don't
after everything, I mean, the only thing with Jordan Addison is the fact that he has an uncertain quarterback play, but he's got a young quarterback. Like, there's nothing to me that says he performed pretty well with Dobbs and Hall. Like, Sam Darnold and JJ are both above. So, we got sniped on Herbert. I was praying it didn't happen. We could. Do we wait on? I think we wait on Kirk. I say we go. We probably need another running back here.
Yeah, what do we got? We got
Chubb.
Chubb will be
Yeah.
later half. Yeah. I still think he's going to end up playing most of the season.
Yeah, I do too. So this is probably, Steve, not my favorite build ever, but I think we can turn it around if in 12 picks another quarterback falls our way.
Yeah, I don't see why you can't get that quarterback.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page on who that is. But what? So this is. So what made you decide to like start making content? So I know there's the love of the game, but then to be like, okay, I want to talk about this and put my videos out online. Like there always has to be a little bit of an internal like, I want to do this. So I'm always curious.
Yeah, so it actually started. I had a buddy of mine who him and I actually founded this, and part of it was we both almost were the ones either I got second, he got first, or I got first, he got second. So we were very competitive in this space. So we decided, you know what, let's just have some fun with it. We always talk football. We talk, it's nice to talk football with your friends, but I wanted to, use my knowledge to kind of put this out there, and part of me is like, I love hearing my voice. Why not? Let me put a little bit of me out in the space. It's interesting. I tell people who are new, who have reached out to me, and because I don't feel like I'm an expert at this at all. I'm still learning so much, but I've had folks reach out, and the biggest thing is if you are interested in putting out content, you think it's going to be something that you have value to it. First step is don't think about it, just do it. Too many people just think and think and think, and then they end up just pulling or finding reasons to kind of just get out of it or don't even start. And I think once you put that first content, don't be afraid of it. Like if you ever look at any of my content, and I keep it up, I love it as a reminder of where I was, just the quality, the editing, everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm super excited, to kind of see where things have grown. I think it's just talking ball. I know a lot of it's talking ball to a camera, but just communicating and again, getting to hear what other people say in their comments and things like that. And just that is just, I think that's the most joy from this whole thing. And again, like I said, if you're ever interested in doing this space, just do it. Don't think about it.
So we're going to be up here in a pick. I'm leaning getting our second tight end. What do we feel about this? Do you like TJ Hockenson this year?
I like Hockenson. I'm actually a little bit higher on Cole Kmet though.
Okay. Well, hey,
he's a red zone.
I'll listen to you here. I'm so upset we missed out on Caleb Williams at this point because we could have gotten that Caleb Williams stack. The person who drafted Caleb Williams reached so high to get him was just, I was not prepared. I thought we had another round we could wait it on him, but it did not happen. No, I'm in total agreement. You just got to have it's pretty easy to make content nowadays. I think it's hard to make consistent, good content consistently. That's the challenge. So if you want to get in, you got to make sure that you want to do it for the right reasons, because it's a lot of lonely nights of you just editing videos, coming up with ideas, researching. But of course, like the live streams, being able to hang out with all y'all, like that's probably my favorite part of all this.
Yep.
And then Brian says, don't remember the year, but I won his first very inexperienced year. He took Peyton Manning in the first round, but ended up with Decker, Julian Thomas, and the Denver running back. Who was it? Who was the Denver running back? Crap.
That time? Marino?
Was it Marino? No, there was another one. He said it's CJ or the other one.
Because I know Sean Marino was great.
Yeah, he was there, but there was also a running back that was like super touchdown heavy. I'm trying to remember who it was. See, it's crazy how fast these names fade. Like we remember the big like ultimate ones, but there's some of these guys that were 4th and 5th round redraft picks that I'm just like I do not remember.
Yep.
Play this game too long. You know, someday, Steve, I'm going to be as old as you, and I'm not going to be able to remember anything. So shout out to you for remembering some stuff.
I try to. I just, again, because I'm such a huge football fan in general, it's fun. It's the nostalgia of bringing up some of these older players. I think it's what makes it exciting.
We're going with the perv. I made the executive decision. And I thought about Baker a little bit to get with the Chris Godwin stack, but I think Deshaun Watson's going to outperform his ADP. So I will
He's
go that way.
got to.
Like, I think
If he doesn't this year, that's it.
well, not only that, but I think the fact with Deshaun Watson, like I know he didn't play the full season. That's why we saw Joe Flacco absolutely crush it. But if you look at like his points per game numbers, like besides the one game where he got like injured in like the first quarter, you take that game out, like points per game wise, he was like a top 10 quarterback. So if we're expecting that, which I know we haven't seen any type of durability as of recent, we can't predict injuries, so we got to just kind of base it off of what we're basing it off. Like getting him at pick 162, like right on ADP, I feel pretty good about that pick.
Yeah, and I mean he's got some weapons around him. There's no reason why he can't have the success. That defense is great. Cleveland is owed some type of chance to get to the Super Bowl at some point. But yeah, I just think this has got to be Deshaun's year. It's got to be for him to have any shot, for a future.
Yeah, I'm with you. I grew up in Ohio, so I'm a Bengals fan, but which I know the jerseys behind me don't say that. They say Ohio State fan is what they say. But the Browns fans that I know, like they were all hyped for Deshaun Watson, and of course they've kind of all turned. But I think that's gonna change this year. Yeah, you were right. Brian said it was Marino. So
okay, yeah, I thought it was. I couldn't remember exact time. Again, I could probably name a million running backs, but Broncos, I wanted to say it was Moreno then. Just like I remember, like everyone forgets when Kurt Warner was a Cardinal and how great that team was with Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden and Edgerrin James. Like those are just fun days.
And I could have just waited on Baker, clearly, which I should have done. Do we just take Baker and go with a little bit of a 3 quarterback build since we have weaker quarterback?
Yeah, I mean at this point, I don't think you can get a better option.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna go that. And so now we're looking at our team. So our quarterbacks we're done with. We need what? A few more running backs.
Mm-hmm.
In our next, we got 3 more picks. So we need at least 2 running backs. And then I'll let that third one be up to maybe a wide receiver. Because we went pretty heavy with Kelsey. So I'm pretty confident going with the Kelsey Kmet tight end room. But the one thing I will say is I did not check out the bye, so we got really lucky on the Kelsey Kmet bye weeks, which is helpful.
Yeah. I don't know how you strategize when it comes to if you do any redraft. I don't look at bye weeks at all until after I'm done with the draft, and then I realize, yep, I just screwed up.
Yeah, I typically do not care about bye weeks. Like during actual drafts, I just take best player available. When it comes to best ball and underdog, just knowing that it's best ball, I'm like, I gotta care about it just a little bit. Now, to all you guys, shout out to Bendels. If you're watching on X, I know he just retweeted me. Go come over to the YouTube. We're putting out content each and every day to help you win not only your redraft leagues, but your draft a little bit better on Underdog. So appreciate the support as we're getting up on the way. It helps me out a little bit more on YouTube than it does on X, but I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in here tonight with, of course, Steve. Like I said, if you want to go check out Steve's channel, all that is linked down below. If you want to find him, I don't know what because you have a personal account on X, and then you also have your channel's account, right?
Yep. Yeah. I don't push my personal out too much, but my obviously my average Joe's I've pushed that's probably the biggest one. And I do have a question for you. So, we're doing best ball. We talk redraft dynasty. What is your favorite format of fantasy?
Oh, that's interesting. So I think for me, I kind of get on kicks, Steve, honestly, of like what I like the best. So when I first jumped in, of course, it was like all redraft. I didn't do any dynasty. 2019 was my first dynasty year, and I went super hard into dynasty where I did like a ton of dynasty leagues, just dove headfirst. So then I would say dynasty was my favorite. And then I started making content, and honestly, like, I think redraft has become my favorite because of the audience that I've built and the people that I've met in the redraft audience. And honestly, the fact that like redraft season is the most exciting time of the year because it's actually when football season is. And so I think that makes me the most excited about the format, but I'm playing so many dynasty leagues and I have too much money tied into dynasty to be like, oh, I hate dynasty right now. I love it all. I got into my first Devy League actually this year. So
Okay.
that's also I'm starting to just expand into all different types of formats. So
Yeah. It's crazy how different. I remember it was just redraft for the longest, and just how things had changed over time.
yeah. Well, what
Redraft has a
happened?
different strategy for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of sickos now in the space, and we just can't get enough. That's why Underdog is making such a push, because there's so many of us that just we have to draft like just all day, every day. Like, and so otherwise, I don't know. It's crazy how much things have changed. So yeah, we're probably looking at another running back here, or we could potentially go wide receiver. I'm cool to
If we
go
go running,
McMillan to get this add another layer of the stack if you're cool with that.
yeah, McMillan's good or Pierce. Those are the two I'm looking at.
Okay. We'll see if with our next pick we gotta go another running back. So we'll just pull up the good old running backs. But yeah, it's so do you do mostly redraft leagues, or are you in any dynasty leagues?
So I am in a lot less redraft than I used to be. I focus on 3 redrafts every year. I have my home league that I've been in forever.
Yeah.
The one that I created with my wife and I, it's a husband versus wives league with our friends and family. And then one that I normally do with just a couple buddies that I've been doing for a while. So those are the ones I'm really focusing on. I've moved a lot into the dynasty space, because I love dynasty. And problem, like you mentioned with the whole draft thing, is I joined way too many startups because of the rush of drafting, and it got to the point where I was over 50 dynasty leagues.
Whew.
And let's just say that's not fun. It just takes away, like, the drafting portion was such a great way to really get into it, and a lot of it helped with my own content. But this past year I had to cut down drastically. I dropped down to about 22 leagues, and really just focused on those 22 leagues. So even that's a lot, but it's fun.
Shout out to you, the role. He says, I mostly watch your Dynasty content. Yeah, so to be completely honest, where we've kind of positioned ourselves where the last 2 years I've done like Dynasty content during Dynasty season, then I get to redraft season, I do redraft content, the role. We will eventually be splitting into 2 channels. I just need to determine at what point that's going to be, whether that's going to be next year or the year after. We'll have to see how this redraft season goes, the role. Complete transparency, but I will be always making Dynasty content because I do very much so enjoy it. So we're about to be back on the clock in 2 more picks, and we need to take another RB. So we're looking at a bunch of just absolutely bell cow status guys here, Steve. So who do you want to go with?
So it's between Bigsby or Trey Sermon.
I'm cool to
Both
go
of those
tank.
guys are probably, but yeah, Bigsby's probably you have to go with him as far as the best upside.
So I'll move us so we're not blocking the draft board. So if anyone is tuning in and wants to see how the draft went out, we got Bijan Robinson, and then cool, the role. I'm glad you liked it. Brian says, sorry, gentlemen, headed downstairs for an MRI, but good luck to all you looking forward to the winning season. Brian, we appreciate you for tuning in. Good luck, brother. Stick around during fantasy season. We're going to help you win some championships. But then we went Jonathan Taylor because we didn't really have any choice. When that value falls to us, I was like, yeah, we're probably going to end up with like Nico Collins. And then Jonathan Taylor fell all the way down there. I can't believe someone took Derrick Henry above Gibbs and Taylor. I love Henry too, but a little crazy. Then we went DJ Moore, and then we were going to absolutely hammer wide receivers until Travis Kelce fell, and I was like, we got to do it. So we got Travis Kelce, then we got Godwin, Deontay, Keon Coleman, Cortland Sutton, Josh Palmer, which this little – here, let me get back to the actual draft board so we can see this. I think the one thing with this – here, where are we at? Full draft. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that was a little bit of an interruption there. But with this round of wide receivers, I don't feel great about it, but I also see the upside. And so pretty pumped about that. What was your favorite pick kind of out of those first few picks?
I just like the fact that you're able to get Jonathan Taylor where he was. I think that was probably a good, nice little steal there. And I like the Godwin pick. I know, again, he's not the number 1 in his team, but he's going to see a lot his way. So I like the Godwin pick. I think he can finish as a top 15, top 18 wide receiver this year.
Easily. And I think the part that actually Godwin over the last month has actually jumped up 20 ADP spots on Underdog, which I think is because they're sickos like me and you that totally see not only the slot snaps, but it's like if you look over his career historically, we're talking about a top 20 wide receiver, and he's not being drafted like one. And it's like, listen, last year there was a lot of things that went wrong for Chris Godwin in this offense. Of course, we love to see what happened with Mike Evans, but yeah, I absolutely love the Chris Godwin pick. I love Deontay Johnson. Those are two of my guys this season, so I absolutely love that. And then we kind of finished off. We pushed quarterback way down the board. People are getting their second quarterback when we got Tua, and then we got Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield. So I feel like especially in this best ball format where we just need one of these guys to pop off a week, I feel like we do have that upside, especially between Baker and Tua, and then I think Deshaun will be a little bit more of consistent, which makes me pretty happy about that. We only went with the 2 tight end build, but we did have the elite level Travis Kelce, and then Steve pulled my arm behind and said, "We are going with Cole Kmet," and I said, "Okay, fine, Steve. I'll let us draft Cole Kmet."
Gotta get Kmet in there.
We had to get Kmet, and then of course we rounded it out with some bench running backs and Jalen McMillan. So overall, I mean, I give this team a B. There were some values, like if we could have gotten a Justin Herbert instead of Deshaun, I would have felt better about. If maybe we would have not drafted, I drafted, I shouldn't say we because I did this to us, drafted Travis Kelce. We would have had a shot at our next pick to get Kincaid, which probably would have been better for us. And we could have added, I don't know who we would have added here. But yeah, no. Interesting draft, nonetheless. Like I said, if you guys are over on X, we are trying to grow the channel over here, Caleb Nemi on YouTube, trying to get to 3,000 subscribers before the NFL season. So make sure that you guys come over and support the channel that way. Of course, if you guys love what Steve is doing, because Steve's an absolute baller, go over and support Steve. He's doing it over on the Average Joe's Fantasy Football channel. All of that is linked down below. But Steve, before we jump out of here, anything you want to say to the people?
Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate you, Caleb, of just, having me on here. I'm not just a pretty face. I do try to actually put out good content. And just great to have, some good fantasy football talk. It's always great. We're inching in there. Receiver just came out on Netflix. I'm actually going to be watching that later tonight. Got to catch up on episode 2 for Hard Knocks. I hate the Giants, but I like seeing, Barkley leave them, but of course he stayed in the East. But I'm just excited for some good content for that.
Well, I think the crazy thing about, first off, I'm excited to watch Receiver 2. That's gonna be pumped. But yeah, watching Hard Knocks as a Cowboys fan, it also probably makes you laugh because they thought Barkley was gonna go out there, and they look like freaking idiots. Like honestly, you see. And listen, I'm the biggest Malik Neighbors fan, so I know we're getting off on a tangent here. But when you watch Hard Knocks and you see the way that he walks in there and clearly does not want to be drafted by the Giants, it's just. And then you see Rome Odunze come in and he's super positive. You're just that's a good locker room dude. And Malik Neighbors, now I'm sure he's a great guy. Definitely throwing the money over on the strip clubs based on Twitter as of recently. But I think it'll be interesting to see how that decision plays out for him.
For sure. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, like I said, guys, if you guys have not, go check over on Steve's channel. Go subscribe to him as he's growing that channel. Come subscribe over here if you're over on X. We appreciate everyone for tuning in, having a blast on your Wednesday night. More content to come, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out.